Hello, 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 everybody. So glad to have you here with us. I have such an important topic to talk about tonight. 5 mistakes to avoid at a book signing. So when you're an author and you're going and setting up, we want to have a good experience for the author as well as for the reader. I am author Kia Holt, and I'm going to share some tips with you guys so that you can have a successful signing. Okay, so here are the 5 mistakes you want to avoid at book signings. Mistake number one to avoid is not having a sheet to collect email addresses. So here's the thing, like for me, I do not currently do a newsletter. I don't do one now. I don't know what type of author I'm going to be in the future. More than likely, I'll end up doing a newsletter. The other thing that you want to collect email addresses for is you're probably going to write another book, and you want a way in order to reach out to those readers. So for me, my first book is called Dealing with Grief and How to Move Beyond It. So even though I'm going to do some other things attached to that, but not a whole, well, kind of another book. So here's why I'm making it. This is why this is a mistake. So one, when I do another book attached to grief, I have two already. So one, I have my main book, Dealing with Grief and How to Move Beyond It. Secondly, I did Dealing with Grief and How to Move Beyond It, a companion journal. So it's a journal where you can process your feelings. So if I had collected email addresses when I did my book launch, I would have been able to tell those same readers about the companion journal when it came out 3 months later. I made a mistake. I did not collect anyone's email addresses. The other thing is, I didn't collect them for a very long time, which is a mistake that you want to avoid. When you have your readers, you want to capture that information. One, so you can tell them about upcoming book signings that you will be at. You want to tell them about new books that you have coming out. Maybe you want to run a contest, in selecting your next book cover or helping with something like that. So it is very beneficial. So, mistake number one, do not forget to collect email addresses. Okay. Mistake number two that you want to avoid at a book signing is not having cash on hand. So there are a lot of people, I know most of us are cashless, but there are a lot of people at book signings who pay with cash. So you want to have a bunch of fives and ones on hand in order to be able to give them change. The other thing that I thought was kind of strange, I've had quite a few book signings where people had a lot of $50 bills. Now, I do keep 20, 10s, 5, 1s, and I have change. I know it's rare to find change nowadays, but I have all of that. Fortunately, I had enough 20s and 10s, mainly 10s and 5s when I was dealing with those $50 bills. So you want to be able to accommodate your reader however it is that they choose to pay. So mistake number two that you want to avoid is not having cash on hand. Mistake number three that you want to avoid is not having anything to give to the reader who doesn't purchase anything. So all of us will have readers who come and they're just browsing. They're just looking, right? Maybe they're not sure they want to purchase your book. Maybe they don't have money to purchase books that day. And if I don't have anything, I didn't bring my bookmarks and things with me, but if I don't have anything to put in their hand, they may forget all about me. If you just have something where they're scanning the QR code, that website comes up. Maybe they forget about the website. Maybe they accidentally type over the website. And you want to give them something tangible in their hand. So I have two things. I have a business card. On the back of my business card, it has a direct link to Amazon because I beg for reviews. And the second one, it has a direct link to my website. The front of it has my contact information. The other thing that I hand out is a bookmark. On the back of the bookmark are all three of my books. So I have Dealing with Grief and How to Move Beyond It. I have Dealing with Grief and How to Move Beyond It companion guide. Here in the middle is the sermon notebook and journal. So that one is for taking notes at church while you're listening to the sermon. And then every month it has reflections to think back over the messages and spiritual growth questions. So I have that on the back of all of my bookmarks, and the front has all of my contact information. So the third mistake that you want to avoid is not having something tangible to give to your reader. They may not purchase today, but they may go back later and purchase. Mistake number 4 that you want to avoid at book signings, this one is big. Make sure you have downloaded all of the payment apps. PayPal, Zelle, where are the rest of them? Apple Pay, Square, Cash App, Venmo. Make sure while you are at home or somewhere on Wi-Fi, okay? Now for me, I do different types of signings, and I have some that I do where I don't collect payment. So if I do those for a long time, all of those apps go to the cloud. Well, once you get to your book signing, you don't know what kind of service you're going to have, because some of these buildings, when you're in there and they're surrounded by concrete and they don't have free Wi-Fi, you won't be able to download those apps. So preparation for these book signings will give you a better experience, and most importantly, give your reader a better experience. So download all of your apps. The other thing that I do is I have a sheet. I've updated it now, so it's kind of a glare that's on it. But I have, to make this quick and easy, so that as one customer is paying, I can have the next customer ready to go. So I've got Cash App, I've got Venmo, PayPal, Zelle. I also take Apple Pay. I do Square. So pretty much my recommendation is all of the forms of payment, set your account up to accept them, because you want to have a good experience for your reader and you want to have a good experience for you. So you can miss out on a sale if you have a reader who says, I only do Venmo. And then you say, well, I'm sorry, I don't have Venmo. And they say, okay, and they walk away. So my suggestion, do what you like, but in order to have a successful book signing, I recommend downloading all the payment apps, and then don't forget your cash. Okay, the 5th mistake to avoid at book signings is not having your sales pitch. So when someone comes to your table and they say, what is your book about? You need to be ready to go to tell them exactly what your book is about, with all the fumbling, the bumbling, and well, it's kind of this and kind of that. No, you need to be ready to go with your sales pitch. Now, here's an example. My book is titled Dealing with Grief and How to Move Beyond It. I feel like it's self-explanatory. It tells you that the book is about grief and moving beyond it. However, it does not tell you the whole story. So here's my typical pitch. This begins with me telling my story. I was 18 when my mother died from cancer. So I talk about that death experience, as well as some other deaths and a big breakup that I went through. Then I move into the stages of grief and talk about living life after loss, so that you learn to experience joy after grief. There's my little short sales pitch. The other thing is, let's say I have a customer who's here. I've just spoken to them. They're setting up to pay. When the next person comes, I'm going to alter it up a little bit so that it does sound more conversational and not so robotic, because I'm saying the same thing all day long. We want to continue to be personable to each person that we've spoken to, right? So have your sales pitch down. So to recap, here are the 5 mistakes to avoid at book signing. Mistake number 1 is not having a sign-up sheet to collect emails. Mistake number 2, not having cash on hand. Mistake number 3, not having anything to give to the reader who doesn't purchase anything. Mistake number 3, not downloading all of the payment apps that you accept. Mistake number 5, the 5th mistake to avoid at book signings is not having your sales pitch prepared. So I am doing my first 2-day book signing next week, August 14th and 15th of 2026. I'm going to do a video and show you how I pack everything. So it is the same thing that I do for my other videos. There's more to bring than just these five mistakes that we want to avoid. So I'm going to do another video. So make sure you like this video and subscribe so that you can be a part of that, and make sure that none of us, I'm doing better collecting emails. I really am. So we want to make sure none of us make these 5 mistakes. So again, 5 mistakes that you want to avoid at book signings. Thank you. Make sure you like and subscribe. Have a good night.